Excellent news. We are live on Facebook. Sometimes it's a little bit of gamble, but it's the technology that connects Toronto with Eastern Shore, Maryland, right? Oh my goodness, I do so much. Folks, ladies, today we are going to have just an amazing conversation about something that touches every single one of us when we just want to give up. Mine, it's just gonna fly. So my name is Barbara Bolton Schreiber, and I'm the founder of Sisters Rocking Courage. And the reason that I founded this business is to help entrepreneurs and even nonprofits really step into who they are and make a greater impact, spread hope, and also create financial independence, which really starts to change lives. And so one of the ways that we do that is to bring women together. Soraiya and I were just talking through some technology things. When we come together, we are so much stronger, so much better. And that also helps with this conversation of never giving up. So I'm going to say really quick, Soraiya is an empowerment coach. We all need coaches. The reason we need coaches is because coaches can see the potential in us. They can see things, they can see our blind spots that we can't. For so many years, I was trying to do this by myself. And now that we've come together as women who love, encourage, support, and celebrate each other, we are stronger together. So Soraiya, please do introduce who you are and let's get this conversation going.
Awesome. Hello, Barbara. Thank you so much for having me. I just love our chat, and I love that we get to share this chat with the world. And I am Soraiya Vasenji. I pronounce my name Soraiya, like a ray of sunshine. And that's what a lot of people know me as, a ray of sunshine, because I am truly positive almost all the time. And I say almost all the time because we never like to say always and never, but almost all the time. But there's definitely parts in my journey where I have had major hiccups, and I have seen the power of never giving up and having the courage to never give up, no matter what. And so I'm just excited to be here and chat with you. I have a corporate background. I had a calling and sort of mentors guiding me to go into coaching. And so I left the corporate world and went into coaching, and I empower moms, women, entrepreneurs, other coaches to never give up and embrace who they are and go for their goals. And right now, specifically, I love working with moms on their mindset to transform the way that they see their lives so they can help their kids have the abundance and joy that they want for themselves. And I also help women who are on their fertility journey or on their journey of creating their family. And what I like to say is that we all kind of have a family portrait that is etched in our heart of the family that we envision for ourselves. And sometimes our path to getting there is not direct. It's not linear. It's not straight. And for many of us, it's been a zigzag and a whirlwind. And having a coach or somebody like me, having somebody that's in your corner on that journey of creating the family that you envision is so empowering and really lifts you up when you feel like you just can't go or can't do it anymore. And so that's what I do. I am a ray of sunshine, and I love it, and it's who I am. And yeah.
Absolutely. And I can definitely vouch for the fact ray of sunshine. Now, as we were talking earlier, that doesn't mean that we don't have our challenges that we go through. And those challenges even give us more sunshine from a different place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of times I talk about mindset. I refer to myself as an empowerment coach or a mindset coach because everything comes down to our mindset. We will all have trials and tribulations and tragedy and times in our life where things are not going the way that we want or that they seem. And what we get to recognize that it's all part of the process. We're in a journey. It's not always about being at the beginning and then being at the end. It's what happens in between. And when we have those falls or we have those setbacks or we have those stories that we believe in about ourselves or about the world, we can sometimes feel so overwhelmed that we don't want to show up for our life or we don't want to commit to our dream and our goal. Mm-hmm. And what I want you to know, the one thing from this conversation is that you get to never give up on your goal. You get to never give up on your dream. And what it means is that when you hear those voices of negativity or those voices that you can't keep going on, you have to out them. You have to
Oh,
share them with somebody. Okay. You don't have to carry these burdens and this pain and this heaviness all by yourself. You get to share it with a friend, with a family member, with a coach, with anybody, even just online. Somebody will respond. I guarantee it. That, I'm
that's a good
having a
point.
rough time, because we all have rough times, and that's what makes us human. And that's what allows us to connect with each other.
Yeah.
For many of my clients, they felt like they always had to do things alone. They felt like they always had to have a brave face and not share what was going on or share their breakdown in life. And the moment they started to trust in themselves and others, that they can get through it and that they can share this burden with somebody else, and others don't have to have the solution for you. It's literally just outing that voice. It's outing that scary thought. It's outing something that we believe it. We believe it because we don't know any better. And what Barbara was talking about other coaches being able to see you in your power, to see you in what is right in front of you, but you can't see it because we believe in some kind of story. That's where we get to let go of the stories. That's where we get to release the trauma, release the things that happened to us in our past that hold us back from being our true, authentic self today.
Yeah.
Because it's all about today. Who cares what happened 2 days ago, 2 years ago, 20 years ago? Let me tell you, I remember I was coaching somebody who I've been coaching for like nearly 6 or 7 years now. And she has things from her past 20 years ago, 40 years ago, she's in her 60s, 40 years ago, that she said has held her back from having joy today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not just let it go? I know it's challenging, but why not? What's the fear in letting go of that?
Yeah.
And for her, it was judgment. She's like, but other people will judge me. And honestly, Barbara, we know, you and I know, that when we are judging others, it's actually because we're judging ourselves. And when we start to forgive ourselves, when we start to love ourselves and accept ourselves and say, hey, you know what? 40 years ago, I was immature. 20 years ago, I was immature. Heck, 2 days ago, I was being immature about something.
For sure.
I forgive myself. I go to that person and say, hey, you know what? I was having a rough day. I'm really sorry that I said those words. You can count on me for just being my authentic self and sharing who I really am. And then let it go and move forward and have the joy today. And it's about that continual process of letting go, releasing the past, accepting who we are, showing up today, who we are, the bold, courageous, bodacious, authentic, just whoever you are, you get to be who you are.
It's just interesting that you talk about that whole releasing piece, because that was huge for me. Like, I didn't want to let go of those painful memories because I earned them. Like, those were my badge of honor. Like, I survived, and this is what I survived. And so it's interesting, that whole process, as you start to let go. And I will say, like, when I started to let go, I pick a little piece. I'm like, okay, I can maybe let go of that one. Like, that one's not as important. But when I got to the really big ones, I had to work with a coach, because I had to get this to say, okay, because for me, I was really struggling with migraines. And this is a completely different year. I have had one full-on migraine, and I used to get them 2 or 3 times a month. And I've had one 3-day migraine, and I've had some little ones, but it's that whole process. You have to let go, because your body is always fighting. And so when you say about, like, just put it out there, oh my goodness, I call that personal blackmail. Because what is blackmail? Blackmail is when you don't want a secret to get out. So you're going to pay something. So personal blackmail, what are we paying? We're paying with our life. We're paying with our dreams. And what we believe just isn't true. And so when you start to put it out there, and you have people around you that can mirror back what is true, that's the part that life just gets like, okay. Because that piece of never giving up, that's an internal conversation.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, it is.
What is the saying? Like, people give up like 90, what is it? Like 2% before it happens. I forget what that saying is. It's something like 98%. Do you know what? That's right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the exact statistic, but it's in every realm. it's, those that have the success keep going. Like you'll hear just all of the quotes by Maya Angelou and Mother Teresa.
Oh,
Those are the ones that are coming up in my mind. And it's
yeah.
about never giving up. It's about always going the distance. And at the end of the day, it's our mindset, it's our trust and our love and following our gut feelings that get us there. And Barbara, when you were talking about releasing, like, there's so much baggage that we carry as humans, and even baggage that might not even be ours. Like you go and chat with somebody and all of a sudden you're taking on somebody else's baggage.
Yes.
It is your right to not take on somebody else's baggage. You get to believe what you believe. You get to trust your gut. And we get to, when we're in a place where we don't think things are going to happen for us, or we're feeling like a little bit less than, and we're having a conversation with somebody and somebody else is like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't, go for that job, or maybe you shouldn't buy that outfit, or maybe you shouldn't invest in this relationship. In those moments, you have choice. You have choice. And what I mean by that is you get to choose. Do you trust yourself? Do you say, no, I really want this, so I'm going to go after it and I'm going to be unattached to how it looks. It may not look like how I think it's going to look, but I'm going to get there. Or you have the choice to believe in this naysayers' negativity, in their baggage, in their stories, in their trauma.
It's your choice. So good. Can you say it again?
Yeah, it's your choice. You either get to choose yourself and your thoughts and your positivity and your belief, or you choose somebody else's like powerlessness in their stories, in their baggage, in their negativity, in their fear, in their scarcity, because they're telling you this because they have fear and they have worry. They're not telling you something from a place where they feel empowered, where they are holding you in your highest form, in your highest self, knowing that when you commit to it, and I mean like not just commit, but commit to the commitment of it, like really commit, you will show up. You will show up for yourself. I know it because that's what humans do. That's how we are all the same, because I've done it in my life. From my tragedies, if I said, well, gee, Barbara knows, like I lost twin daughters. If I believed that I wasn't meant to be a mom, if I believed that my family wasn't meant to have a child, if I believed that because of one loss, I couldn't try again, I wouldn't have my miracle daughter now.
Right. Yeah.
And even after having my miracle daughter, in my family portrait, I see another child. And it's not a linear equation where you see and hear stories like, people looked at each other and they got pregnant. That's not my story. And that's okay, right? There's no blame, shame, or guilt there's just compassion for ourselves. My journey is a challenging one, but I commit to myself that I will do everything in my power. And I also know that nothing is in my control. The only thing in my control is how I show up.
Yes.
How I show up today for myself, for Barbara, for our communities, for our families. That's what I get to control, is everything internal. I control nothing on the external. Although I wish I did, I say I do, but I know I don't. We don't.
But that whole piece on how you show up, that you show up. Because sometimes it's not even how. It's like, okay, we're just going to show up and see what happens today. That changes everything, even internally, externally. Because
100%.
there's a piece of this too, where, gosh, I'm like, how do I go into this part of the conversation? There's a piece of this where what we create comes back to us.
Yes.
So what we generate, what comes out, and we've heard it in so many different ways, but that actually changes. So this whole piece of like just taking one step, working with the women trauma survivors that I do, life is overwhelming. And so sometimes it's even just difficult getting out of bed. We all know that. And somebody was talking to me about like, what is your ideal client? Like, do they shower? Do they like, what do they eat? And I'm like, some of us don't shower. Like, let's just like shower isn't going to be happening, right? Like the fact that we put our pants on and got out the door with the same matching shoes, like is a lot depending on where, where we are and what we're doing. So
Absolutely.
I work with women to say, let's just start with one thing. You say about committing to the commitment. Let's start with one thing. And then when we do that one thing, you celebrate from that space.
Yes.
Because the view always changes. Soraya, what do we do? We look like, okay, here's my big vision. Here's my big dream. This is what I'm going to go for. And then we get completely shut down because, right?
Too much.
And when you say like, it may not look like what you think, it doesn't. And it's almost always better.
Better. True. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add one more thing because I remember a client said like, oh, but your life always looks great. Let me tell you, every human, every person has challenges. I have challenges. Absolutely. I can tell you that I have a Mommy Mindset Squad Facebook group and a community, and I pour into them. And in this past summer, we were doing an egg retrieval cycle for our fertility process. And we retrieved 18 eggs and 13 were mature and 5 fertilized. And on the last day, Barbara, on the very last day, the 5th day, they all stopped growing. I went from 100% is possible to in this cycle, no possibility.
In a day.
And for me, it was really challenging. And I work on my mindset every day.
Sure.
And what I needed was a hiatus. I just needed to shelter myself and just recommit to understanding what am I learning from this? You know, what are the gifts in this process and in this journey for me? And that's when I really understood, and the universe really showed me that there are others out there who don't have the support that I have. They don't have the belief that it's possible for them. They don't know the tools and the tips and tricks of pulling ourselves out of these places. And having gone through that and feeling that rock bottom, that zero, feeling like nothing will be possible in my dream, and understanding it and having compassion instead of self-beat up, and turning inwards and loving myself even more for what we were going through, is how I get to be a coach for other people in that journey. I truly understand. I truly get it because I've been there.
Yeah.
And today I can tell you, I took a few months for myself where, showering was not something that I was going to be doing. That was not a priority. That was just trying to get out of bed and make sure that my 4-year-old was all right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then asking for support and leaning on my family and leaning on friends to receive it. And for friends to see me, for other peer coaches and mentors to see me and give me space to allow myself to feel compassionate and grace. And now I was able to emerge, and it is a journey. And I share this because everybody goes through these challenges, and it's about picking ourselves up, but also asking for support to be held and to be in a safe space with somebody else who sees you, who hears you, who believes in you, and who understands what you're going through and helps you emerge.
You said something so powerful. It's asking for support to be held.
Yeah.
Because there's a piece that comes before that, knowing that we deserve that space, right?
Yes. Yes. Knowing we deserve it. I tell everybody self-care, self-love is a birthright. You are born, and so you get to have self-care and self-love, especially for you moms out there who are listening right now. I'm talking to you right in this moment. Self-care, self-love is required as a mother to care for yourself so you can care for your kids and your family and your job and for all the thousands of things that you do every day for others. You get to do it for yourself. And let me tell you, it will make everything else easier, lighter, more fun, more joyful, attract abundance in your life.
Yes.
Self-care is not just something that we get to do on a whim or once in a while. It's a daily practice.
Absolutely.
It's a birthright.
We have a friend of the group, Cranford, has joined us, and he's talking about, I know, right? So true. Our pain and challenges give us the ability to lift others authentically and powerfully. Absolutely.
Yes.
And I know Tony Robbins says about how life happens for us, not to us.
Yeah. And I would even say, to go further, one step further, is life happens through us. It's not to us and it's not for us. It's actually through us for others to see. It's not just about ourselves, because for us makes it about me.
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah.
But through us is about me and the people around me. Having a
Absolutely.
loss, having trauma, yes, that happened to us, and it can be frightful and scary and absolutely horrific.
Mhm.
And when we emerge, it's not just about ourselves, but it's about lifting the community. It's about spreading that joy and that hope to others.
Yeah.
Sharing our stories allows others to feel, bonded with us, and they get to rise too. So things that happen, it's not to us, it's not for us, it's through us.
Through us, which I have something else. I was getting a note from a call that I had yesterday. But before we get to that, because when we look at, I love when you say it happens through us, because that just gave me goosebumps. We were created. Like none of us can go make another human. We were created by our creator. And for that, for us to then decide what we can and cannot do, the fact that we're here is a miracle.
Mhm.
And then for us to then try to control what our future looks like, what our day-to-day looks like. I say this entrepreneurial journey, literally every week I wake up, I never know who I'm going to meet now. I never
Yeah,
know what's going to happen. Like I have my calendar. Yeah, it's November looks better than October.
for now.
I know, right? But we never know what's going to happen. And if life happens through
Mhm.
us and we show up, because this is the quote I was getting, a new friend, Renee, from Clubhouse, she's in Women's Wisdom. She says, when you show up for life, life shows up for you. And so if
100%.
right. And so if we talk
100%.
about life happening through us, we have to be the vehicle that just allows creation to flow.
Yes.
Because when we're in that space of giving up, who has decided that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happens when we when we can't take a shower? What happens? Like what is the gift that we're giving to the world? I'm not judging at all, because
Yeah.
it's there, like some days we all do the very best that we can.
Yeah.
And life
Yes.
only started changing for me when I committed to showing up in a way that I thought I couldn't. That's one of our questions, right? What
Yeah.
is it that, what is it, a memory that you have, one of your first memories of you doing something you didn't think you could?
Gosh, so many things. I mean, I was born in Canada, grew up equally between Canada, the US, and Japan. I played soccer competitively. I came to Boston and did undergrad there. I mean, I didn't think I'd go to the college that I went to. I didn't think I would travel and play sports around the world like I was able to. I definitely didn't think I would go to Kellogg for business
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
I mean, literally everything. My parents sort of taught me to aim really high. Always aim high because you'll just land somewhere in the top and you just
Hmm.
work hard. And I remember like always being in the corporate world and feeling like I just have to do more and work hard and be the person that people know to go to because she's the one who gets things done. And that was great for such a long time
Hmm.
because I had that drive and that motivation, and I was always searching for that next thing. And that's what gave me satisfaction.
Hmm.
But what I didn't realize is I was pinning my happiness on that. And
Right.
the minute that I uncoupled happiness from achievement, I
Mhm.
started to have even more happiness because it didn't matter what I achieved or didn't achieve. I was always happy. I'm
Mm.
always happy because every day is the best day of my life.
Mhm.
And I teach my kid that. So when I drop her off at school, she's like, okay, have the best day of your life. I'm like, you too, have the best day ever. And this idea from your question, it's that everything that I now do, whatever I achieve, wherever I go, I am content and happy because I'm giving it my all.
Mm.
I'm being my
Showing up.
word. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do that. And
Yeah.
there are those days where you can't get out of the bed, or you just don't want to do the shower. Those are the days where we don't do self beat up. Those are the days where we have compassion for ourselves, where we show ourselves
Mhm.
self grace. We
Yes.
recognize we're going to just take this day. It's going to just be a rest day.
Yeah.
And then the next day we get back out there and we commit to our word and we course correct and we shift. And I can actually remember um, in business school, we had this idea to launch a restaurant. It was a fast casual Indian restaurant called Sataza. And
Mm.
it was my husband and a business partner. And he was going to Booth, and we were at Kellogg, two different MBA business schools. And I was working full time. I was going to school part time and getting my degree, or my business degree. My mom was in the hospital and not doing so well. And it was just, everything was a struggle. And I was like, there is no way, like no chance, no way that we're going to launch a restaurant on top of all this chaos in our life.
Yep.
And we did it. And we did it. We just did it because we had the dream.
Yeah.
We asked for help.
Yes.
We just did what we had to do. And Barbara, there were days where I would go to work. I would leave my house in Chicago at like 6:30 to take a train for an hour to go up to AbbVie where I was working. I would work a full day. I would leave around 4:30 or 5, take the train back downtown, go over to the business school in downtown Chicago, have my class for 3 hours, finish class around 9:30, I think it was, walk over, we'll take a little walk and then take a bus over to the restaurant that we had, get to the restaurant at like 10:30, take a cleaning shift from 10:30 to midnight or 12:30 in the morning, go home, crash for a few hours, and then just do it all again. And I was so committed to all of these things. Whoa. I was so committed to all of these things that I showed up and I did what I had to do. And we launched a restaurant. Like, I was a restaurateur. That's crazy. Right. And then life shows you other opportunities. And then instead of being held handcuffed by this restaurant, when there were challenges, and my husband had this amazing opportunity, and it was another one of my dreams to move to San Francisco, we sold the restaurant. We didn't stay stuck in this idea that our first dream was about having a restaurant and then staying there, when a competing dream was, let's go to the West Coast. And wow, this opportunity of what my husband wanted to do came forward. We couldn't say no to that. So we said, we'll find a way to sell the restaurant. We'll find a way to let that go and embrace this dream.
So many goosebumps.
I went to San Francisco.
So many goosebumps, because people look at their dreams as a finish line.
Yes.
And it's just part of the journey. It's just a stop. It's just a scenic overlook.
It is ever changing. Your vision, your dream, your goals, you get to have them, but you also get to change them. You don't have to be stuck in them. And sometimes with the information that we have in this moment right now, I can see what my vision is. But in 2 months from now, or a day from now, when I meet somebody and they share some information, my vision may change slightly, and that's okay. And now I get to go in this direction, and then it changes and I go this way and then this way. And it's all heading in that right direction. And it's about working on our mindset, asking for that support, finding a coach or finding somebody that can help you see that, yes, you can get there. Right now, if I were to tell you my vision, you'd be like, that's crazy, Soraiya. That's impossible. I'm telling you, you'd say that.
Oh, I can't wait.
One of my visions is to be able to build a school in Africa every year.
That is not crazy. That is, and it's going to happen because you ask other people.
Absolutely.
You have the connections and the resource, and you know why else this is going to happen? Because you just told everybody.
That's right.
That's
I declared it.
You declared it. And now other people who have that same want, wish, and desire know to reach out to you. That's the piece. We keep our secrets. We keep them like, oh, I have this dream, but I'm not going to tell anybody. Nobody can help you.
Exactly. If I don't share it, how do I get there? Right.
Absolutely.
And and then the other part of it is, well, a lot of my clients initially, when they first start working, will be like, I don't want to share it because what if I don't get there? And I'm like, well, that's fear and scarcity thinking. But if I share it, other people are going to band with me and we're going to get there together. And they're going to have even bigger visions and greater ideas, that it's going to be even bigger and better than I thought.
Exactly. Yeah.
How about that?
I have 2 dreams like that. One is that I can have a retreat home for women.
Yes.
Who are living in difficult circumstances, that they can stop by or stay over whenever they need a break. They can come for a bowl of soup, or they can stay for the weekend. Cool. Because so many of us, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, and especially with what we've gone through with the pandemic. Where is the place that women can come together in a safe space? Sometimes women and women groups aren't always the safest space. So that's one of my dreams. And as I have that, I'm like, I wonder how this is going to show up. And I wonder who's going to be part of it. And I wonder where it's going to go. Cranford's watching, and there's something that he said that I want to touch base on, but he has a dream to create retreat centers for women to learn how to be safer in this world.
Yes.
And so, and his is about mindset. And so, as we talk about these dreams, we can then share them for each other. So that's the one thing. The second thing is with Sisters Rocking Courage, I don't own it. Life happens through us.
Yes.
Like it's mine, however the world looks at it. But I am just so energized to see how this takes off, because I think that as we come together in this safe group of women and we meet each other and grow, pour into each other and grow, can there be Sisters Rocking Courage around the world? Amen. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I
So
love
as you're
it.
talking about like what it looks like for schools in Africa, because I think I'm on that same page. I think there is, Cranford just says he's connected to some resources in Africa. Soraiya, he wants to connect with you. So
Awesome.
As we look at showing up authentically, what is it that is on our heart that we do see and want to make a difference for? And so there's that piece where I think there's a huge gap for young women.
Yeah.
And what are we doing for them to have a different life? One of the things I say is we burned our bras 50 years ago. And then you look at the environment that we live in, and we still have a ways to go. And if we can start with the younger girls, what can we do for them?
Yes, absolutely. That's why like education and early childhood education is so impactful. And it's just, I light up when there's any kind of opportunity. And actually, so I am with a group of people called We Lead for Change. And we are currently raising money for a school in Africa. I didn't think about this earlier, but I would love to just share it really quickly. And I can add a comment about this. But if you go to weleadforchange.com, we're currently raising funds for a school in Uganda. And I believe we're over the 50,000 mark. And our goal is about 95,000. So we're already halfway there. And we have an auction site. And so if you go to the website, there's a ton of things that people have contributed to this auction, and you can go there and bid on something and see if there's something you like. There's all kinds of things out there. But yeah, so that's happening. And there's a live event all day tomorrow where they're like doing a dance-a-thon, and there's a ton of fun stuff. So weleadforchange.com. There's that.
Definitely look that up. And I need to connect you with a new friend of mine, Bettina, who is in Charlottesville, Virginia. They adopted 2 boys from Uganda. I kid you not.
Aww.
Yeah. So they're still in the elementary age, but yeah, I can't wait to connect the 2 of you.
Yeah.
So I will be looking up the weleadforchange.com because that just completely resonated with me. So thanks.
Oh, so amazing. And one of the other things, so like I talk about self-care and self-love and mastering your mindset. And even though I use the word mastering, mindset, that's something that we work on every day. It's a daily practice. And I talk about, the 5 keys of mindset. There's also one other thing, like using tools around you is really important as well to get us to shift our thoughts and shift our thinking, our beliefs, and recognizing, to go back to what I was talking about for choice, we are always in choice. So like my clients, I always send them this little diamond, like paperweight, if you will, or just a little diamond. And I talk about living our diamond life. We all get to have a 10 out of 10 life in every facet of our life. And you're a diamond, I'm a diamond, we're all a diamond. And in order to make a diamond, it takes hard work, right? It takes energy, it takes fire, it takes a lot of work on refining your life. And that's what I like to talk about, because it's not just an easy thing. But the easy thing about creating your diamond life is that it's a choice. It's a choice every day. And sometimes when we feel stuck, so if you're watching right now, pick up any object that's around you. So Barbara, you pick up something too. Pen. Perfect. You have that pen in your hand, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, you're looking at your pen, your diamond, your object, and you're like, I feel stuck right now. I'm stuck because, and you just blurt it out. You tell the pen what you feel stuck about.
Yeah.
And then you take your object and you move it and you put it somewhere else.
Okay.
You've literally just taken what you are stuck on and you've moved the problem. You've turned your problem into a solution. You've just moved it. You're getting unstuck. So that is physically helping your mind to be like, okay, I was in a problem situation here, and now I'm in an opportunity situation over here.
How many times can you do this?
all the time, literally all the time. I have a client right now who is working on a health goal, a weight loss goal. And every time she wants to go to the pantry, I tell her, go pick up your diamond and go put it in a new place. And I say, go put it on a different floor of your house so that you got to walk to it. So she's getting steps in, moving all across her house, just putting her diamond. And she keeps connecting, like, I want to eat something because I'm angry. Okay. And she's hearing what she's saying and she's recording it for me so that we can be working on this. And she's like, I'm eating because I'm bored. I'm eating because I'm lonely. I'm eating because I'm sad. So now we go and we address these things. Why are you sad? Why are you feeling lonely? Why are you feeling angry? And instead of putting carbs in her mouth, she's literally just moving her diamond around her house.
That's fantastic. That is genius.
Yeah. So that's one tip I wanted to share. And then the other tip is, as a coach, I use other tools like this diamond. I call it the diamond life, but I also tell my students, my customers, my clients to sniff and shift. So there's a lot of pure essential oils in the market.
Yeah.
I love doTERRA essential oil specifically, and that's what I use with my clients. But literally, like, they have essential oils that are pure and consistent, batch to batch, but you can see motivate, cheer, passion, forgive, console, peace. Yeah. So if you're working on one of these emotions, like let's say I'm working on forgiving. There's no trying, by the way. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. So I'm forgiving myself for something that I said or something that I did that I wasn't happy about. Yes. I can literally open up my forgive bottle. Oh, look, my little eyelashes are trying to go on there. Open up my forgive bottle.
Yeah.
And then I can roll it on my wrist.
Oh, and forgive.
I can breathe it in and I can literally connect to, the aromatics of the essential oil are going up my nose. They're going through the olfactory system. They're hitting the hippocampus. They're hitting the amygdala. That is where emotion is, right? That is where our stories, our emotion is. That's why, like, when you smell something from your childhood, like fresh baked cookies or apple pie or your mother's stew or whatever it is, you remember those feelings. You remember that time as a child and that happiness, that elation, that warmth, that unity comes back to you. Yeah. It's the same way that these work. So here I'm breathing this in and I feel I actually get this scent of a little bit of like the winter and of calming and like pine. And it is actually making me really relax right now and just like get in a heart space where I can say, I forgive myself for not being kind, or I forgive myself for overreacting, or I forgive myself for being triggered by somebody else's blah, blah, blah. Like it just opens that conduit in allowing us to shift. So I tell people, sniff and shift. You want to shift, just sniff and shift. And so that's another way, that you can do something for yourself right now. And Barbara, I don't even know if you know this, but I offer mindset and oils classes every week. Oh, and they're free. And so anybody in your community can come to a mindset and oils class and just learn, just learn about it. And then, go for it.
When do you do them?
So we have them Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
And Thursday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So there's like evening times and afternoon times.
Let's pop that in the comments below too. That's amazing because there's so much truth to that. And especially as trauma survivors, because a lot of our memories are very deep in our cells.
Yes.
And so sniff and shift, I love. I know for part of my journey, I had to literally talk outside to myself as a younger person. I have somebody who was just, Rhoda, we talked to last week or earlier this week. She actually put a small version of herself, like a picture of herself as a little kid on her phone. And so, along the same lines, and she would talk to that younger picture of herself. And that made me teary because we just don't even think about doing that. So when we say things out loud, it requires different parts of our body to participate. We have to process. So we have to create, we have to hear. When you sniff, you're engaging, and it's amazing. I know one of the things that helped me shift out of depression at one point was there was a book about, Deepak Chopra wrote a book about what you eat.
Yes.
And he talked about making sure that your plate had all of the colors.
Colors of every color of the rainbow.
Yeah, nope. I was eating complete like mashed potatoes, corn, and chicken and
White,
and
yes.
biscuits, right? All white.
White and yeah, tan.
So when you talk about sniff and shift,
Mhm.
it's real and it's quick. In
Yes,
our world,
real
we
and quick.
want these quick answers, quick responses, and sniff and shift. That's a quick.
Sniff and shift. There's a blend that doTERRA has called adaptive, and
Mhm.
it's literally adaptogenic to like your own body chemistry, but it really makes you adaptive and adaptable to things around you. And with COVID, just the level of anxiety, the level of stress, the level of overwhelm and grief, this blend, adaptive again,
Mhm.
it's just been like transformative. And doTERRA created it as a mental wellness sort of support. And it is just fabulous. Like, oh yeah, it just helps, like literally you just feel the anxiety reducing and the overwhelm and the grief. And you're just like, okay, I got this. I can do this. And like you said in the beginning, break something down. If something seems really big, break it down into a bite size and just do that one thing and you'll feel good.
Well, and it's that pattern interrupts too, because if we can stop and even just the sniffing, because breathing is always part of being centered. I know
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going after mine.
Like feeling zen now.
It changes everything. It changes your ability to ask intelligent questions instead of judging
Yeah.
yourself or saying that this is never going to happen, or I'm going to give up because it's too hard.
Yeah.
That pattern interrupt, taking that deep breath, centering within yourself, all of a sudden you start to hear what's true and
Yes.
ask questions for who can I reach out to? Who can I connect
Yes.
with?
We call that listening to the listening.
Oh, yeah.
Listening to the listening. You can do that with yourself. You can actually hear what it is you're saying. So you can hear underneath it. Is this coming from a place of fear?
Mm,
Is
right.
this coming from a place of depletion? Am I so depleted right now that I am angry or frustrated? Do I need just 5 minutes to close my eyes or a little snack to like get my blood sugar back?
Hmm.
What is it that like you're just listening to yourself and really hearing what is underneath what you're saying?
Hmm.
And there's some kind of feeling or emotion, there's some kind of
Yeah.
belief or thought. And when we understand what that is, then we can do something about it that actually will shift us or move us in the direction that we actually want to go in. We can believe in our power, believe in our confidence, believe in abundance versus fear and scarcity and limitation and powerlessness.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
listen to the listening.
So as this 45 minutes is flying by, there's two things to wrap up, and then I'm going to hand it back to you, Soraya, for any final thoughts. One of the things I wanted to touch base on what you're talking about now, and when you were talking about starting the restaurant.
Mhm.
So you and I were communicating last night at crazy o'clock. It was like 11 o'clock, and we were still communicating back and
Yes.
forth. And then I had one more thing I had to do after that. As you were going through everything that you were doing when you were starting the restaurant and caring for your mother and taking your classes and all of that, when you are being authentic and you're living in what you know to be true for you,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like work. Yeah, we have
No.
things to do, but it's things that we want to do because we know that we're showing up as who we're supposed to be showing up as.
Yes.
So for anybody who's going through, whether it's the fertility challenge or whatever challenge it is for getting out of bed in the morning, it's that piece of just starting to align with what's really true for you, not taking on, as you said, Soraya, not taking on somebody else's baggage.
Yeah, absolutely. And you used a really key word that I love, alignment.
Yeah.
Aligning who you are. It's about our being. Who am I? I'm a courageous person. I'm a responsible person. I'm a loving person.
Yes.
I'm a joyful person, right?
Mhm.
Instead of the doing part of it, like I'm a mom, I am a caregiver, I'm a coach, I'm a marketing consultant. Those are the doing parts of it, right? I
Yeah.
do all of these things, but who I am is my being. And when I
Yes.
operate from my place of being,
Yes.
coaching is just a natural part of the way that I love people, right? Parenting is just a natural part of the way that I love my daughter. It's not like I'm now wearing my coach hat and I'm doing coaching. The coaching comes out naturally. The
Hmm.
momming comes out naturally. The creating a marketing and strategy plan comes out naturally
Yeah, it
because
flows.
I am being my funny, like scrappy. My husband calls me scrappy because I can just like see all these different things and put a plan together. So like
Hmm.
I'm being my scrappy being And that's what creates that strategy plan. I am what some people call an analyzer. Like I can see a lot of data and like figure things out.
Yeah.
I love logic problems and stuff like that, Sudokus and all that. That's way up my alley. You, yeah.
Rubik's Cube.
Puzzles, love puzzles.
Yeah.
But my way of being is being curious and being scrappy and being analyzery. Those are my ways of being. And then I show up in that mode.
Yeah.
And the doing doesn't feel like doing. It just feels like I'm being me. It just feels like I'm being silly and messy and authentic. It doesn't feel like I'm putting on a corporate hat and going and just doing and achieving this and achieving that and writing this book and, all of that.
Yeah.
There's a different feeling. So that's what I feel like you're talking about is when you operate from your way of being, life is easy and fun and abundant and joyful. When you operate from a doing, it's hard, it's tedious, there's deadlines, there's, it's just, it's tough and it's requires a way different energy that is not sustainable versus when you come from your way of being.
There are women that needed to hear that statement right now. Because that's who I used to do.
We all used to be that doing person.
Oh my goodness. Like I did. Yeah.
That's what society teaches us. That's what the education system teaches us. And I'm not knocking anything. I'm not downgrading or degrading anything. I actually heard Malia, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her last name, but she gave a talk earlier this week and she's from Hawaii. And she was talking about how her belief is that we are born entrepreneurs. And that in school, we learn how to be a worker bee instead of an entrepreneur. And then when we finish all of our schooling, we actually have to unlearn how to be a worker bee and go back to being an entrepreneur. Because all of us, we are leaders of our life.
Yes.
If you never thought of yourself as a leader, let me tell you, and I'm giving you the permission, you are now the CEO of your life. You are the leader of your life.
Yep.
And so you are the entrepreneur of your life and you get to create whatever it is that you want to create in this life. You have all the permission that you need from the universe. You get to do it. And don't worry about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and don't worry about the story and the baggage you have of the situation or because of X, Y, and Z. All of it is surmountable when you believe in yourself. And you can do this.
It's so true. And especially as trauma survivors, I say that we feel so much more deeply than our counterparts. So everything is based in that core of feeling, and belief is a feeling, right? So if we are in that space of joy, what feels right to us, because so many people say, oh, it's not about feelings, but it is, because as trauma survivors, feeling kept us alive. Like it really got us through. And that's one of our superpowers. That's my belief.
Yeah.
So when we land in, oh, Linda Friday's watching. She said, love that. You are the CEO of your life. Yes, she is Chamber Executive Director. So yeah, that whole CEO part. So when we really do step into that feeling of what brings us joy and being in those spaces and aligning our work, our gifts, what we create in the world to who it is that we really are, we become the most powerful version of ourselves. I love the powerful. Some people talk about the best or the better, and that's okay. But for me, it's powerful. Are you showing up powerfully? Yeah. This is good stuff. Cranford said, I got to share this with you because if life happens through us, this goes back to a little bit ago. If life happens through us, that tells me that everything that happens to us, the good and the bad, has the power to benefit us or someone else through us. And he said that is powerful. Exactly. He's so thankful 100%. That he heard that today. Yeah, there were quite a few mic drops for today. Oh my goodness. It's just,
I told you, Barbara, I can keep going. You just have to rein me in.
It's been amazing.
Is too much fun.
It really is. Oh my goodness. Well, we have actually more types of events that we're putting together that are similar to this, where we're bringing women together. So Soraiya, you're definitely going to be in the loop on that. As we wrap up, all of the goodies that we've talked about, Soraiya, you'll be popping them in comments. I'll be popping them in comments. You can connect with her, follow her, like Sisters Rocking Courage, or follow us, whatever you do, on Facebook. Yeah, Linda's saying, I feel I'm who I am because of my experiences through life.
Absolutely, Linda. You go, girl.
So I'm going to hand this back to you for you to wrap up and say any parting thoughts. If you want to go over any tips or whatever you feel people need to know for today.
Yeah, I mean, this was just so much fun. I love doing this. And if anything that I said and you're hearing this resonated, I am making my calendar available. I'm going to drop a Calendly link below and reach out. Just you don't know why you're reaching out, that's fine. Just literally book a time slot with me and let's chat. And I would love to just see if there's ways that I can support you on your journey or offer you tips or connect you with somebody or connect you with a resource, whatever that is. But the one thing that you get to do is you get to show up for yourself today. And that might mean, joining Sisters Rocking Courage. That might mean chatting with Barbara or any of the guests that she brings on. If something I said resonates, reach out. This is your opportunity to go for your dream and your goal and just reach out. And you can also follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, Soraiya Vasenji. You see my name is on the bottom here, but I'll post my link below as well. You get to be the creator of your life. You get to have it all, and you get to find the tools that will support you to get there. So don't feel like you're stuck, because being stuck is literally like just moving something across the desk and feeling like it's different, or literally just sniffing and shifting. And it's that easy. So, you get to be courageous and bold and ask for what you want and live your best life today.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, as my dog is getting ready to go crazy, Andrea from California. So she's on Pacific time. So she got up early to listen to this. And she said, thank you for the powerful conversation. And I have to say, Soraiya, you're fantastic. So thank you so much for creating this space. I know, right? Thank you for creating this space for others. We never know. It's like the droplets with the ripple effect. We never know the lives we're touching, but we know that by stepping forward in what we're supposed to be doing, that we are. So.
One little final mini story. I remember I did a summit last year in November, and just 2 weeks ago, somebody who listened to that summit and who has been thinking about me ever since, and I don't even know her, finally dropped me a message 2 weeks ago, and we are finally connecting. We never know the impact of being in our way of being and showing up the way we are, just our authentic selves, how that can impact somebody's life and how that can change or plant seeds of hope or desire or faith in somebody's life. And so be your authentic self, share openly, get vulnerable with the people that you care about, tell the people that you care about them, because nobody never wants to hear that. Everybody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to know that they're loved and that they're appreciated. So love your people, appreciate your people, know that you are loved, and go for your dreams.
Absolutely. And we will end on that because it's so powerful. Thank you, Soraiya. Thanks for spending time with us. And everybody, have a wonderful week. We'll be back on Tuesday, 10 a.m. again. Thanks a bunch. Take care.